Don't get me wrong. I know that Julio Jones is in the top 2 of any receiver discussion. But I'm just talking about, his ability to go up and get the football, unquestionable. We get it, height, size, all to his advantage. But in the end, I think Antonio Brown has found himself dealing with similar adverse circumstances and situations and has found a way to get himself in the end zone a bit more than Julio Jones. And I think that counts for something. And the receptions are relatively equal over the past several years. That's why I would go with Antonio Brown. But I know Julio Jones is a bad brother.
Julio Jones is 30 years old. So how many more years does he have as an elite receiver?
Brown, by the way.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But Odell is significantly younger, 26.
Right.
So age is part of how you get paid. But let's put that aside for a second and talk about who deserves to be the highest paid. The answer is Julio Jones.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. Odell is the most talented receiver. I think he's in a class by himself. Antonio Brown is the most productive receiver. But Julio Jones is in that category. Those are the 3 best, right? What doesn't Julio Jones have? Does he have size? Mm-hmm. Yes, he has size Odell and Antonio Brown don't have. Mm-hmm. Does he have speed? Yeah, top end. Does he have skills? Yes, top flight. And how about his attitude? Is there ever a problem from Julio Jones?
Not
ever?
A headache.
He just puts his head down and works, even when it comes to his contract. Lots of ways to we need to keep this team together. Mm-hmm. I'll get my money. There's lots of ways to get paid. This is the guy you want on your team. He is a player without a weakness on and off the field. So my favorite is Odell, and I think he's really the most talented. I really think he's the best. The one you can make the best case for proving is Antonio Brown. They both just got traded for less than they were worth because they were, an issue. Julio Jones is right there, and he's got the size they don't have, and he never gives you a problem. That man deserves to be the highest paid receiver in football.
Max, you're correct. Julio Jones should be the highest paid receiver. I mean, look at this. Not just the numbers, right? The numbers are the numbers. He had a season where he had 130-plus catches, second only to Marvin Harrison. He is a guy, 4 years of over 1,400 yards receiving. I mean, the numbers speak for themselves. But when you watch him play, I'm a believer in pop the tape in, watch this guy play, watch this guy run routes, watch him catch the football, watch the things he does in crucial moments when everything's on the line, like the catch in the Super Bowl when he barely got a fingertip on it and got his second foot in bounds. Things like that separate him from everyone else. And to do it at that size, at that weight, with that skill set, it's just unmatched. Nobody else is moving around like Julio Jones. No one else is catching the football the ways that Julio Jones is and putting up the numbers. I know the touchdowns might not be there, but when you watch him play, he garners so much attention, and you have to figure out where he is. He can't be covered. He could barely be covered by 2 people, let alone 1. So with that being said, I think his skill set is just second to none in this league.
That's on Sark, Vic. That's on Sark. Like, you got that's on the offensive coordinator. You got Julio Jones on your team.
Well,
you got to figure that out.
Well, they got to figure out how to get him the ball.
Well, we can look at Steelers coordinators, the relationship between Big Ben, Todd Haley, and how that supposedly was going to detrimentally affect Antonio Brown. That wasn't necessarily the case. Here's the deal. In 3 of the last 6 seasons or so, I think, Victor, Julio Jones had over 100 receptions. Let me give you the last 6 years for Antonio Brown, if you don't mind. 110, 129, 136, 106, 101, and 104. Julio's best season with the 136 receptions. Antonio Brown also had 136 receptions. I'm not sure if it was the exact same year.
I think it was the same year.
I think it was the same year, but I'm not sure. 136. The season before that, he had 129 receptions, okay? Now you take a look at, now y'all going to laugh at me for saying this, but damn it, I'm going to go here, okay? The drama in Pittsburgh. Let's also not really, when we talk about the attitude and how comfortable.
It's part of it.
Excuse me, Antonio Brown was in Pittsburgh. Where's Julio Jones? Atlanta. I'm here to tell you, there's not a lot to complain about in Atlanta, Georgia. You understand? I mean, let's take on. So when we talk about, the attitude, your comfort level, Max Kellerman, I mean, far be it for me to get a little bit personal here, but you didn't look as happy in Bristol as you look in New York. I mean, there's something to be said.
Bristol's a fine place.
There's something, I'm sure it is. There's something to be said. I mean, Victor, where are you at right now? Where are you at right now, Victor?
I'm in lovely Bristol, Connecticut.
You're in Bristol. I don't see you smiling, even though you're smiling now. I don't see
I'm
you
always
smiling. I don't
Stephen
see you smiling as much as you smiling right here in New York City. Max, did you notice the tan with the smile that Max had when he was in L.A.? There's something to be said about locale. So when you talk about Julio Jones, who went to Alabama, which is only 4 hours away by driving, only 4 hours away from Atlanta, Georgia, affectionately known as the ATL, okay? And some other quarters, different names. The point that I'm trying to make to you is when you're living there, okay, as opposed to Pittsburgh, where it's all about football, a steel city, blue collar, nothing.
Antonio Brown is going to be in Las Vegas soon. You want to bet he's still doing stuff on social media and stuff and still causing
Exactly.
problems?
But the thing with
You want to make
Julio,
a bet he's going to be a lot happier?
the thing with Julio is that even when things,
He's gonna be a lot
when things
happier.
weren't going their way in Atlanta,
Right.
they were still, he kept a level head, he stayed his part, he stayed quiet, and went out there and played football. That's the difference.
When was Antonio Brown a problem before this season?
Two
I don't know.
seasons ago was the
No.
Facebook Live thing,
That
right?
was the Facebook Live and the players that they want to. No.
But still.
He was behind. He wasn't listening to his coach.
Right.
So he didn't know. But
Right.
that's all that was.
Right.
That's not a
You know
problem.
that doesn't
That's
happen
a
with
mistake.
Julio Jones.
But he shouldn't even have his phone out. He shouldn't even have his phone out while the coach is addressing the team.
Julio, you just said you're ready to sell your house and move to Atlanta right now. And
I didn't say that. I didn't say
head
that.
of
I like my house.
no
I like
matter
my
where
house. I
he
love
goes.
my house. I'm good. But I'm just saying there's a
You
difference.
also love the Georgia peaches, so you.
How many Super Bowls has Antonio Brown been to?
It is true.
How many Super Bowls has Antonio Brown been to?
None. He's
no.
been to one, but not as a starter.
How many Super Bowls has Julio Jones starred in?
Julio Jones.
Yeah.
Was it?
One.
Yeah, Julio Jones.
Yeah.
He should have won that game.
One?
Yeah,
that
so
was
you've
an
got to
epic
the Super
collapse.
Bowl with Julio
All right, well,
Jones.
there is something to be said that you were on the offensive side of the ball when y'all lost a 25-point lead. There's
You
something to
lost
say.
the lead because you stopped throwing the ball to Julio
That's a
Jones.
coaching. That was
All right, well,
that
he
was
should
the
have
coach's
made sure
fault.
that didn't happen. Maybe if he was a big cantankerous.
You want him to
they
throw
would've
the
stopped.
ball and run the ball,
No,
too?
he should have got in your
I'm
face
done
and
with
throw me
this
the damn ball.
conversation.
That's what he should have done.